Good day, Louisian Gems. We are here again to discuss another topic of our discussion about personal development. In this specific discussion, we're going to talk about the concept of developing the whole person. And in this topic, we are expected to attain the learning objectives. First is to give the meaning of holistic development, and then discuss some philosophical theories in the study of the whole person, and determine the various aspects of holistic development of a person. So let us again have an adventure of knowing about the whole person and how the whole person is developed through time. Now, what is your understanding about the whole person? Is it giving meaning literally, or there is a broader and deeper understanding of the whole person? And is looking to the behavior of a person describes him or her of the whole person he or she is? So to answer those questions, let us now begin our discussion about the whole person and holistic development. Holistic development is the development of the whole person, emphasizing the complete aspects of a person or his totality. Okay? And the complete aspect of a person include his physiological, cognitive, psychological, social, and even spiritual aspect. Okay? To refer to the whole person undergoing holistic development. Now, there are theories regarding the concept of the whole person. And one of the theories was made by Rene Descartes in his theory of duality. Okay, that's Rene Descartes. And according to him, understanding the nature of things must be in a simple dual mode. In human, it is the dualism of the mind and body. And dualism here, in the theory of Rene Descartes, is the concept that our mind is more than just our brain. Because this concept entails that our mind has a non-material spiritual dimension that includes consciousness and possibly an eternal attribute. Other theories concerning the whole person are Gestaltism and Holism. These two theories are somewhat the same in presenting to us about the whole person. And the concept of Gestaltism was introduced by Christian von Ehrenfels in 1890, and later on supported by the psychologists like Max Wertheimer, Kurt Kofka, and Wolfgang Kohler of the Berlin School in Germany. I am not that aware of these philosophers or contributors in the concept of the whole person, but let us see their contributions to this concept. Now, Gestalt is defined as something that is made of many parts and yet is somehow more than or different from the combination of its parts. What do we mean by that? This means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Let us see some examples of this. Now, an example of Gestalt is evident in music. Like, for example, a symphony cannot be identified by one of its notes alone. Even the clusters or sums of these different notes do not make up the whole symphony nor characterize the whole symphony. But the interaction and fusion of the different notes in symphony will produce something bigger and greater than the nodes themselves. So it is clearly manifested here that the concept of gestaltism focuses on the whole rather than the parts. It focuses on the sum of its part as a whole rather than some specific part of the whole. The concept of gestaltism is also evident in a car. Okay, let us see. We all know that a car is made up of hundreds of different parts. Separately, these parts do not represent the car, di ba? But when we put together and made to work with each other, these parts produce a new entity entirely different from its part. Now, the parallelism of the symphony and the car and a human in terms of being a unified entity follows the principle of holism. Okay? It is by looking the totality of the person that an individual undergoes development. And there are various aspects in the holistic development of a person. So let us now focus our discussion about holism. In 1926, General John Smuts wrote about holism in his book, Holism and Evolution. And according to Smuts, in understanding humans, it is important to see the person in his entirety and not just his parts. So as I said a while back, it is really by looking into the totality or the wholeness of the person that an individual may undergo development and can be understood by other individuals in the society. And there are various aspects of holistic development of a person. First, we have the physiological aspect. It is the physical attributes of the person. And in this aspect, an individual starts growing into a full, independent, mature human being from infancy. And the most significant change that a human being has to go through in this aspect occurs during the stage of puberty. Okay? And it includes the 5 physical senses. And I don't need to discuss that because you are already aware of this. Okay? Another aspect of human development is the cognitive development or the cognitive aspect. It refers to the intellectual functions of the mind, like thinking, recognizing, reasoning, analyzing, assessing, and the like. And the development of our cognitive abilities also has stages ranging from the time we are born to what we are now. And to better understand these stages of cognitive development, let us look into the work of Jean Piaget. In Piaget's stage theory of intellectual development, he showed 4 distinct stages of intellectual development that an individual undergoes. But let me remind you that this stage theory of intellectual development is not the same with our discussion about the 8 stages of psychosocial development. Because the focus here of this theory of Jean Piaget is on the intellectual development that an individual undergoes. Okay? Now, the first intellectual stage or stage of intellectual development is the sensory motor stage. This happens from birth to 2 years of age. And in here, our cognitions mainly focus on learning how to interact with our environment. Our brain's capacity of function only reaches out to moving our limbs, breathing, okay, perceiving the world, and developing our senses. Kasi nga, from birth to 2 years of age ito. Okay? But if you are still experiencing this kind of states today, nako, anong nangyari sa inyo? Okay? The second stage is the pre-operational stage. Starts from ages 2 to 7. Okay? And the child uses symbols like words and images to represent object, but does not reason logically. And this is also the stage of our cognition that we learn to imitate our parents, our guardians, the people around us, okay, associating them on roles based on how they act around us. But like the first stage, in the term of Piaget, children are still egocentric, focusing mainly on themselves with what they want, what they demand, and what they need. Ah. And then comes the third stage, in which Piaget called it the concrete operational stage. It occurs from ages 7 to 11. And in this stage, okay, the childish egocentricity comes to a close. And it is during this stage when the logic functions begin to be available. Although like hangover, they might still bring some of their egocentricity. During this stage also, children begin to process the thoughts, feelings, and perceptions of other individuals. And they also realize that they themselves have their distinct opinions, thoughts, and feelings. However, in this stage, they still struggle with the concepts of abstract and hypothetical, like the concept of freedom, like the concept of independence. Okay? They still struggle to grasp these concepts because they are still abstract and hypothetical. And we have the formal operational stage. Begins at age 11 and above. This is the stage where you are now. Okay? And does not cease or stop until we reach the end of the line. You know what I mean? Until we, okay? Yan. Now, in this stage, it involves huge progress with regards to logical thinking, deductive reasoning, and the comprehension of abstract ideas. Meaning, at this point, individuals can think already abstractly and apply this abstract concept in multiple situations or in dealing with circumstances along the way when they are being confronted or when we are being confronted with problems and circumstances along the way. Okay? But take note that developmental delays can also happen during each stage because of other factors that highly influence development, like the environment, the upbringing, the nutrition that the person received, and also genetic factors. So there is a delay in the intellectual development of a person because there are factors that cause or causes the delay. Okay? Especially if, for example, uh, you are being put into an environment wherein it really lacks nutrition, or your surroundings is really not that positively affect you to be developed as a whole person, okay, there will be really a delay in your intellectual development. And another aspect of holistic development is the psychological aspect. In this aspect, adolescents begin to be more cautious, not only with their looks, but also with their actions and with high regard to what their peers think and feel. Okay? It is in here that how thinking, feeling, and behaving interact and happen in a person. And adolescents would also base their preferences to whatever is trending. Gaya ninyo, di ba? Ano ba yung mga trend ngayon na lagi nyo ginagawa? Bang, bang, bang. Ayan. Especially fit. Okay? Especially fit it. No, especially if it came from a celebrity. Di ba? that you adore or admire or even idolize, like the K-pop group. Okay? It is also in this aspect that misunderstandings between the parents and the adolescent also occur more. Okay? And adolescent become also sensitive in terms of rejection. That's why in this stage, okay, the adolescent will look for a peer group that will really validate them and their identity as a person. And the other aspect is the social aspect of holistic development. Social aspect is the manner by which an individual interact with other individuals or group of individuals. In this aspect, the concept of social interaction or socialization is very important in order for the individual to really undergo developing his or her social skills. Like for example, socializing with other people, okay? Talking in front of uh, friends or in front of many people. Okay? These are examples wherein social aspect comes into play when we talk about the holistic development of a person. And we also have the spiritual aspect of holistic development. In this aspect, the attribute of a person's consciousness and belief comes into play. Okay? It includes the values and virtues that guide and put meaning into a person's life, and also the belief that there is an existing supreme being that guide us, okay, as individuals and as members of the society as we go along with other members in developing ourselves and also the society as well. Okay? Spiritual aspect naman yan of holistic development. But let us keep in mind that understanding a person holistically means that one aspect cannot be seen in isolation from the whole person. So when you look at a person and try to understand this individual, it is always good to consider the five aspects and what it is about this person that makes him or her a unique, okay, from yourself and from others. So understanding a person holistically means that to judge a person because of behavior alone is not balanced. One must see how the interplay of all the five aspects occurs within an individual. And with this, thank you again for listening. Next meeting, we will talk about feelings and emotions, okay, behavior and attitude, and then values and virtues. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.